Hey, all you fine people out there, welcome to On the Porch, brought to you by All This Entertainment. I'm your host, Mr. Scott Bottrell, and today I have another special guest. And I know I say that a lot, I say I have a special guest, but I do have a special guest, my friend, Mr. Johnny Hayes. How you doing today?
Hey, my brother. Thank you for having me. I'm good, man.
Thank you for coming out today. I know you got a lot going on, and you had to leave the family today, and I know you were probably cuddling up on a Saturday morning with the kids and just relaxing after working all week. But yeah. I really appreciate you coming out.
Thank you for having me. No, it's great. It's nap time, so this is the perfect time to do it.
Exactly.
This is when Mommy and Daddy get their stuff done.
Heck
when
yeah.
the children are sleeping. So.
And you got another one on the way too. So hopefully you can get them both on the same nap time eventually. But,
yes, yes, we'll have them here at some point, right?
Yeah, exactly.
They'll be good. They're gonna start a band, family band.
Family band, exactly.
That's the next project.
I mean, with your talent, they probably will. I mean, get them all going. I love it, man.
I don't know. Maybe I was telling them it's not the greatest time to be aspiring to be a musician.
That is very true. That is very true.
It's hard enough to be a musician, and then to be an aspiring musician, it's like.
And the juxtaposition on that is everybody's sitting at home in pandemic thinking, I don't have nothing to do, so maybe I could be a musician.
Right.
And they're all playing music.
If you're good at the internet, then you're set.
You're set.
It's really all you need.
Now, we've kind of, Johnny and I know each other, so we're kind of already getting off on a tangent. But let's get back on the track here, because there are viewers out there that do not know you, and we need to get everybody to know who Johnny Hayes is, where you came from. So let's get into that. Tell me a little bit about you, like your upbringing, where this music came from. Where did Johnny Hayes develop out of?
Oh, man. What a load. So that's a great question. So I was born in Mobile, Alabama, John William Hayes Jr. And so
that's an auspicious name, right there.
Right? And that, my dad was gung-ho about being the second, which just a brief pull-off, but my future son that will be born in October is John William Hayes III.
Nice.
But he will be referred to as Jagger.
And
I have to give all the credit to my wife for that.
Really?
So, yes, she was like, all right, because I totally guilted her into doing it. I was like, come on, like, it'll mean everything to me and my family. But which it would, but she's and she didn't have to do it, and I would have been fine either way. But she was like, all right, here's our compromise. So it worked out.
That's a good one right there, man.
Yeah. So anyways, going back to my name, and so Johnny kind of developed. It was weird because I went to high school for sport. Like, sports was like everything.
Really?
Football,
I did not know that about you.
Basketball, I ran track.
Wow.
I mean, I was all about it just because I was, part of the reason was because I was athletic, but I was also, always a little bit bigger than everybody else.
Were you in the music program too at the same time as your sports?
Briefly, and that kind of like also sparked the fire, if you will.
Okay.
When I was doing football my junior year, or actually no, it was my sophomore year. I took chorus as like a elective, just like as a bullshit class or whatever.
Had you not sung before that? Like
no, not seriously. The only memory I have of singing before that was like in the shower, and my mom walked by the bathroom and was like, "Are you singing in there?" And I was like, "No, go away." and then I walk in the kitchen. She's like, "I heard him singing in there. It wasn't bad." And then of course I'm like, I'm gonna bury that way down here for a long time.
Yeah, Mom said it was good. I'm never doing that ever again.
So then I go and I do chorus when I'm like 15, and my chorus teacher pulls me aside after class, and she's like 5 feet tall, and her name Kathy. Mrs. Hughes, and she's like 5 feet tall, and she's looking up at me, and I'm like 6'3" and like 15 years old. She's looking up at me. She's like, "I heard you sing, and I saw you dance, and you need to take this a little more seriously." And I was like,
"Wow."
I was like, "Okay," and that kind of like got me a little bit more curious about it. So then it wasn't maybe but a couple months later, if that after I had been in the class for a little bit, that the guy that was a tenor one in the advanced chorus group, which was like the show choir, they did all like the big performances. It was like they were the and they were called adagio, which means slow in Italian. I have no idea why I know that, but anyways, he got caught smoking the reefer outside of class, and this is a college prep school. It's like, so it's also like,
so it's bad news
you can't just like do something bad. You can't just like, you're getting caught with drugs and you're like 16. So he was gone like immediately. So I got the call to be tenor one in this adagio chorus class, and I didn't know anything about it. I never sight read. I didn't know anything about music.
Oh man!
So I went right into it and started doing it, and then it was a musical.
So you just had that innate kind of musical sense already in you. Like, did you struggle
still
because you couldn't read music and all that stuff at that time?
Well, I mean, not ignorance is bliss. You know, like I didn't know that could do anything. It was not brought to my attention yet that still, even though she pulled me aside and was like, you can sing and dance, it was still like, yeah, okay, but I know a lot of people who can.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, you know, and also everybody in my life, society included, will tell you, don't try to be an artist unless you really want to struggle.
Yeah.
Like, really want to struggle. And they say that because it's hard enough.
Yeah.
You know
sure.
what I mean? And so you're going to add this extra burden of like not so sure of a path to your plate, you know? And I get it, because people that love you, they don't want you to struggle.
Yeah. They want to see
and
you.
so that's all it is. And so still I didn't know. I didn't recognize that there was something there.
Yeah.
And so no, there was no problems to be had as far as sight reading goes, because I didn't give myself any opportunity for those things. Now, that did come up.
Yeah, eventually
in college, because
that you went through the blissful period where, like you said, where you're ignorant and it's more just about discovering and having fun.
Right.
Before it kind of becomes work a little bit.
Not paying attention to what I sounded like, how I was singing, anything like that.
Now, before you go on to your college, did you stop playing sports this time? Did you do both?
I did both.
You did both.
I would go.
So you were that
football.
crossover guy. You were that popular jock that was also into music and all that. So you were the king of the school, weren't you?
Like I wasn't the alpha. Like I wasn't like the guy. You know, like those, like there were some like macho guys that I went to high school with, you know, and I just wasn't that. But I did all the things that they did, again, not knowing what I was doing. La da da da. Like I won this award in high school that was like an award that was only given to seniors for being like somebody that was doing a bunch of shit. Yeah. And my dad, like from the very beginning, was like, you have to do something. Yeah. You can't just sit. Like, you have to be occupied. Like the idle mind is the devil's workshop. You know? And obviously now I get what that really means. But at the time it was like, I'm just gonna do what my dad tells me to do. But he also was like, I'm not gonna make you do anything you don't want to do. Like if you just start doing something and you're not interested in it, like let's find something that you're interested in.
That's good. But he was supportive in that way.
They were, man, and they were the greatest parents for that. Like, they didn't steer me away from anything if they thought that I wanted to do it, as long as it was like productive. Yeah, you know, and I did fool around with the ideas of music, but
also at the same time,
we were a middle, class family. We didn't have a lot of money, so it's not like we could go buy a cello and then try that out and see how that worked. Yeah, you know, those are expensive things, you know, and even guitar. I took guitar lessons when I was 7, and I was like, fuck this, I don't want to do this.
Little did you know,
this guy, like I'd go in like to do my lesson, and this guy's like on the pentatonic scale, like I'm like, what's that? He's like, let's tune up. Boom, boom. You hear that? Yeah, it's an E. This is where we're starting here, buddy.
This is where you're going to begin.
And I'm like, oh my
Smoke
God.
on the water. Here we go.
Like, I barely got the times table last year. The card that they gave me, I'm like, this looks like Japanese. And now you're trying to. No, I can't even. Yeah. So it was just like, it wasn't a thing for the longest time. And sports was the thing because that looked like that was what was going to get me to the next level of life, whatever that may be. And so,
but you know, I know what you work for your dad too. So I mean, I'm in a way, I'm thinking, I imagine that growing up, you know, you worked hard too for your dad. I mean, you worked in doing lawn care and stuff, and they supported you. I mean, to me, it's a beautiful thing because he taught you that hard work, but he also gave you your leash so you could go out and do something that you wanted to do, something for your spirit.
Yeah,
and that's beautiful.
And as a parent, I mean, and you know this, like, you kind of appreciate those little things that, like, you know, are tough to do to your child, because you want to, like, I want to protect you from, but like I can't. Like there's only so much I can protect you from, and you're gonna come upon yourself, and so.
Well, we're going to get in that in another segment. I have a whole question that just tied in for that. I'm going to remember that, and we're going to go on that next segment. But, you know, let's get into some music, because everybody's waiting to hear some music. So let's get into our first song.
Okay.
So the first one you're going to do for us is Leave My Records Behind.
Yes.
And I have not heard this one yet. Normally, everybody gives me their music ahead of time, and I get on, and I'll listen for a couple weeks, and I just listen to their albums and stuff. And Johnny's got 4 new ones that really hasn't been out there. He doesn't have any video recording of, so we got some special music for Mr. Johnny Hayes today. First one's called Leave My Records Behind.
Yes.
So let's talk about that. Tell me a little bit about this song, where it comes from, and what's it about.
So when I was on The Voice, I had a lot of free time that I normally wouldn't have. I wrote a lot of songs, like, in the hotel rooms, and I had written this song fairly quickly, and it was around the Nathaniel Rateliff era, where he was Son of a Bitch and all that was out, and everything was doing,
where it was really hitting hard.
That was really hitting hard with a lot of people, that nostalgic, like, sound.
Yeah.
And so I had kind of, like, written it kind of like that, and then I sent it to my buddy. Like, I sent it to a couple of my guys. Every time I write a song, I'll send it to Matt and Jonathan, and just to kind of,
just so you know, the Love Seats, his band, are in Nashville.
They are in the Love Seats.
So he's got right now they're writing. They got to go kind of back and forth, and a lot of it's online. But you know, please go ahead.
Yeah. So you know, I send it to them, and then they're honest. They'll be like, yeah, this is good. Well, this is one. I sent it to them. I think they liked it. I'm not really sure, but we played it at a gig, and it just wasn't connecting with the band. And then I've worked on it a lot more. I sent it to my bass player Tim, who's got a beautiful ear. Like, he can hear so many different things and songs, and like potential, which is not a lot of things that people want to hear something. They were like, I want to hear the finished product, and sometimes it's not there yet.
It's not. You need that evolution.
And he was like, that's a great. And so I put that song down, and I sent it to him a long time ago, and he was like, man, that Leave My Records Behind song is a great song. Like, we should play that more. I'm like, I don't know, man. It's not done yet. So he got me interested in wanting to work on it again, and it had been 3 years since I had picked it up. So I have a lot changed. Things have happened. So I picked it up and worked on it some more.
And vocal, everything.
So then it rounded it out. And as far as the lyrics go, I just thought, in response, so this is Ryan Adams' song, Come Pick Me Up. You've probably heard it.
Yeah.
It's a great song. It's like one of the best songs ever. And he talks like, he says, steal my records. And I heard that line, and I'm like, that's fucking bullshit. Don't let her steal your fucking records, man. What do you mean?
Fight for him. Come on.
I mean, she can take whatever she wants. And then I thought, this actually might not be a bad song. Leave My Records Behind. And so that was kind of how that chorus came about, and then I wrote around that. So
all right. Well, let's get into it. I'm excited to hear it, because like I said, I have not heard it yet, and I love listening. I just love the new music. And
thanks, man.
I mean, all you viewers out there know me, that I love all these people that we bring on the porch. I'm not just a journalist or an interviewer. I'm a fan, and I'm a Johnny Hayes fan, and we'll talk more about that later. But we need to get into the song. This song is called Leave My Records Behind. Mr. Johnny Hayes, everybody.
I don't know what I was thinking when I let you in your heels, walk away with my favorite t-shirt, because you like how it feels, baby. Guess you win and you lose some. We make some good and bad deals, but what you're holding right here, baby, and not items that you get to steal. So take what you want, baby, grab what you can. You can fill your trunk with all of my junk. I really don't give a damn, baby. Had a good run, we're coming undone. Honey, you can have what you find. You can turn my house inside out, but leave my records behind. Leave my records behind, babe. Lately now I've been sinking way down and deep in the dirt, 'cause she left without cleaning, and the vacuum belonged to her. So take what you want, baby, grab what you can. You can fill your trunk with all of my junk. I really don't give a damn, baby, had a good run, we're coming undone. Honey, you can have what you find. Yeah, you can turn my house inside out, but leave my records behind. Oh yeah, just leave my records behind. Ooh yeah, baby, please don't leave with my box of melodies. I want my Stones and my oldest blue. Baby, please don't go with my funky rock and roll. I heard the radio has the perfect songs for you. So take what you want, baby, grab what you can. You can fill your trunk with all of my junk. I really don't give a damn, baby, had a good run, we're coming undone. Honey, you can have what you find, fine. You can turn my house inside out, but leave my records behind. Ooh, just leave my records behind. Oh yeah, just leave my records behind, baby. Oh yeah, get your sticky fingers off my sticky fingers. Ooh, yeah, 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 yeah. Just leave my records behind.
We're back. Leave My Records Behind by Mr. Johnny Hayes. And now, normally at this point, I would promote it and say, this is where you need to get it, but this we can't find yet,
You can
we?
exclusively get it right here.
Right here, we got the exclusive, y'all.
For free.
The free. So, right now, so anytime you want to hear it, just click the play button and check it out. So, let's go ahead and talk about this real quick. So even though this one isn't out there, he does have a lot of music out there, and you need to get on Spotify and check it out. Johnny Hayes and the Love Seats, amazing album. We're going to get into that here in a little bit. You can also see, you can also get some of his voice recordings too. So
From The Voice.
The Voice.
I do have 1,000 voice recordings on my cell phone that nobody wants
the
to
voice.
hear.
Well, let's talk about The Voice, because, you know, not a lot of people have that pedigree, and you went through kind of some hell to get there growing up and to get on The Voice. I know you tried out for Idol one time.
I did.
You stood in line for that. You stood in line for The Voice,
Right.
and didn't get all the way through on that. Took you to the third time, you know. But so I know I'm kind of divulging it all. Let's hear your version of the event. So tell us about your coming into The Voice and how that all happened.
It was a I will say journey, and I'll call it an individual journey. Just to Tarantino this thing, like when it's all done, when you're off of the show, you know, there's a plethora of people that are like, don't stop, please don't give up, we love your music, like, and I'm very thankful for that encouragement, but like that was never part of the plan. Like I always thought of The Voice as a thing that I was doing during my journey with music.
Yeah,
rather than
one of your stepping stones.
Being the journey. Now, in this particular journey, and I will call it that because it took a lot of, like, you know, those like little conversations with yourself of like, should I do this? You know, should I not do this? with the pros and cons and that kind of thing. And so with the voice, it started when I was about 23. I tried out. I stood in line all day, and it was when I first moved to Nashville.
Said 7,000 people.
And it
or
was
so?
like they said 7,000 people were there, and this was in Nashville, and the line wrapped all the way around the building.
How daunting is that to be sitting there with 7,000 other singers all singing and practicing, and you think, I've got to be that drop in the bucket? I mean, what was that like standing in line? I'm curious about that.
Man, like it's just like anything else, right? I mean, you could say that about living in this whole world. It's like, I'm just one of a billion people. What difference am I going to make?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But that's not going to get the ball movement. So I when I was standing in that line, I thought, there's probably a lot of good singers here. There's probably a lot of people here that think that they're really good, or somebody told them that they're really good.
And the really bad ones think that.
And there's
going to
be and there's going to be some really bad ones, right? That think that they're awesome.
They're the best.
They're all there. You're in here. This is where you got to be. So just be there. So I was fine with it.
So you surprisingly had the right mental, role to go do it. I think a lot of people don't. They don't go into it right. And
I did, and I didn't, because I think. Like how we were kind of talking about off camera, like I have a little bit of anxiety sometimes, especially when I get in like large groups of people. And it really makes me like go down into not want to do anything but just be by myself in a corner. And which I recognize now as I'm older that like is okay for a second, but like also you need to learn how to like break out of your shell. And that was kind of how I felt. So I never felt intimidated by anybody because I didn't care enough about anybody else being around me to know, you know what I mean?
It's that ignorance is bliss that we talked about earlier.
Yeah, so it was just my only focus was like just to get to that person that I need to sing in front of, do what I knew I could do. And if it wasn't good enough, that means that I had more work to do. And that was what it was every time. And then like
that's a great mindset to go in. I think, to me, this seems like probably why you were successful in making it so far the way you did, because there really is a level of people just, I'm going there to be famous, and you weren't. You were going there to work and develop. Right.
Well, yeah, and that's true. That was my mindset the whole time, was that I needed to work. And I'm not, I hope I'm not coming off like I'm tooting my own horn when I say that, because I wish
no, toot your own horn. That's why we're here, man.
I wish that I could have been like a lot of people. There were they just were going with the flow. You know what I mean? They were going to do what they were told to do, and they were also going to have fun while they were doing what they told to do. And I wish I could have done that. But instead I was more like, all right, like, you need to go to bed early every night. I got up at 5 o'clock every day.
Wow.
And ran 3 miles, would come back, shower, like have my coffee, eat breakfast. It was the same thing every day. And so it was like I was so regimented, and because that's what happens to me when I get put in a place. It's like you're here and you don't have anywhere else to go, because we were
you find a routine.
What's the word they call when you keep people in a hotel together for a long period?
Like isolation?
There's a word for it. I can't remember what it is. Sequestered.
Yeah.
You're sequestered here, right? And you can't go within these. So I was like, all right, I know exactly what I got to do to do it, and it was like, stay focused.
Yeah.
Like I'm married, so like that, like I wasn't gonna get distracted by any females out there. No, I love women. Please don't take that the wrong way. But like there was a time in my life where that was just a huge distraction for me.
Yeah.
And so anyway, so that wasn't a distraction. I didn't have Luna at the time, my baby, and so I was focused on that. And I wish I'd been a little bit more relaxed, but it did get me somewhat far, and I'm thankful for it.
I understand that, though, because talking about your self-doubt that hits you and stuff, I would imagine that routine helped keep you grounded during that time.
It did, man. I tried to remain like as graceful and thankful just to be there as possible, because I had done it.
I'm telling you, that's the key to life.
I think I was like 28 when I did this, and I was about 21 or 22 when I started that journey. So a lot happens, as far as like wanting to try again. And like my give a crap button was off. Like I was like, I don't even care who I impress anymore. I'm just gonna do this because this is a personal thing that I need to just like see where it can go. And so that's kind of what happened with it. And I got to the top 24, Team Adam. You know, but that first time,
how was it working with Adam? Did you spend a lot of time with him?
I didn't spend a lot of time with him. Everything's very scheduled. Because it's a TV show, so it's production. There's a lot of people that have to be.
And he can't be there 24 hours a day.
No. I mean,
it's a job to him too.
Exactly.
He's got a family.
Exactly. But I will say he was very down to earth when he was around. He was very cool. He was very helpful. He also broke some rules, if you will. You know what I mean? He would kind of like on the side be like, "Yeah,
hey, do this."
Like there was like I shouldn't say this, but I don't fucking care. So I got off the off the show or whatever. Right? I had like lost this knockout and you know I've lost before, so it's like you just have to learn from that. So I immediately was like, I'm accepting this. Like, you know what? I already know that, like, this kid that beat me, like, already know that I'm more developed than he is. And you know what? He needs this more than I do. So I'm going to take my losses and congratulate him and move on about my life. No.
Yeah.
Captain America bullshit. So anyways,
you're trying. That's beautiful.
I was, man. I was trying to be positive. I was 1,000 miles away from home, too. So, you know, I didn't have...
you don't have much of a choice. Yeah, it's either put up or shut up at that point. Yeah.
So I get off and immediately I go off stage and Adam's like, "Hey, you're fine." I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "You're fine." And then so we have a PR person that's supposed to be like the liaison between them and us, and she comes and she goes, "Don't listen to him. You go away." And she said to Adam Levine, she's like, "You go. Don't listen to him. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And like apologizing. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, this is so weird." And when you exit this premises, you have to go see a psychologist to make sure you're not going to lose your...
Oh, yeah, like come back in with a gun and mow everybody down kind of thing.
Right. And he's like, how you doing? I'm like...
Bummed.
I was like, I'm good, man. Like, I'm not gonna do anything stupid. You know, if this is what it is, I'm gonna go on back home to my wife and be done with it. I said, but I am a little curious because Adam came up to me after the show and said, he didn't say like you're good to go, but he was like, don't worry.
Yeah.
Like, you'll be fine.
You're gonna be fine.
And I didn't know if and I thought it was weird that he said that because I didn't know if it was like, are you saying that specifically like to me, or are you saying like the general, like, you'll be good, man, just don't worry about it. And turned out that like it was all a setup to like have me come back, and I was like this return artist for the show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it was like a whole thing.
So he was
like,
he's trying to give you a little tip.
They got me to cry on camera. I was so pissed. I was like, I don't want that. This was like my only goal. Like, don't do it. Don't give in to the story.
I didn't see that. I'm gonna have to try to find that clip.
I don't know.
Now.
Maybe it's out there. But yeah. But overall, I will tell you, it was one of the best experiences of my life. I'll never forget it. It was like the nicest people to work with and for, and you know, there's a few egos here and there, which you're going to get with 200 lead singers in a room.
Yeah, and I know we could talk about this for 4 segments, you know, to me, I've heard a lot of stories from the Idol, you know, because we have friends that have made it through a lot of rounds of Idol and The Voice, and seems to be the general consensus is if you make it all the way, you're kind of screwed in the end because they kind of own you and they own everything you do. So to me, I feel like your experience going most of the way through and then not having to be a slave to them the rest of your life is really the best thing because you got that experience. You got to do it, but now you get control of your own stuff, and I think that's beautiful.
Yeah, man. It was a lot of perseverance. Like, real quick, the first time I tried out, or probably the third time, and I told you a little bit about this, but I got to this person who basically denied me in like the middle of, I got to a course and she was like, you need to figure out who you are as an artist and come back later. And I was very deflated at that point. And that was when I got a call to come and try again, and I went and I did it, and then end up getting that same person, and she was like, she didn't remember me, but she was like, woo! She's like, sing something else. And I'd sang "Son of a Bitch" by Nathaniel Rateliff,
Nice.
which I knew when I went in there. I was like, I'm going to be the only one that's going to do this song.
Did you
Maybe.
play or was it all
I did. I
track?
played guitar.
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
So I did that, and then like a Ray Charles song, and she was like, "You're in, man."
Wow.
And I was like, "Just so you know, you told me no 3 years ago, and I thank you for that." So
just to recap this
lessons.
for the audience, you grew up as the cool jock in school, and then converted to the music program.
I don't know how cool I was.
And then somehow developed through those first few years of your teenage years, and then you went and tried out. And we're told no, point blank no, but you had that moment where you came back to that same person and blew her away, and then went to the top 24.
yeah.
I mean, that's a cool ride, man. If anything, you can sit back and go, man, that was a damn cool ride. It's
Thanks,
beautiful.
man. Thank you.
Well, I know we could talk about this all day, but we need to
Yes.
get into some more music. Everybody at home was waiting to hear some music. Before we go into that, I want to remind everybody to go to johnnyhays.com. It's a brand new website that they just set up, so they're still developing it. You can also please go on to his Venmo and Cash App, Johnny Hayes Band.
Johnny Hayes Music.
Johnny Hayes Music, I'm
Yes,
sorry.
yes.
Send this boy some money. He's got a 2-year-old at home. He's got a baby on the way, 7 months pregnant. He's, working musician, and as we always talk about, all these guys are trying to work, and they can't right now. They can't. Johnny can't bring the band right now. He's doing solo.
And
a lot
they
of
have
solo
countless
stuff.
children.
And they have
In
countless
the words
children.
of Matt Mackey, they have countless children that all need whiskey and cigarettes. So please.
So please donate. Please, if your child needs whiskey and cigarettes, please donate to Johnny Hayes Music at Venmo and Cash App.
Please. Yes. Oh, goodness.
All right, so let's get
Yep.
into the next song. So
Yep.
the next song is called Voodoo Queen.
Voodoo Queen,
And
yeah.
again, I have not heard this one. Is this an exclusive? You don't have anything?
This one, I think I have a recording of it on YouTube somewhere. It's just like a video recording with my cell phone and a couple other guys. But
So pretty much we're getting the exclusive here. So yeah,
kind of.
heck
Yeah. At least this version. So my wife and I got married in New Orleans, and which was a dream come true. It was, and she's a dream come true. And so we always love to go to New Orleans anytime we can
Yeah.
get a chance. We just love it. We love the culture. We love the
It's an
music. We love
amazing
everything
town,
about
man.
it. And birthdays, anniversaries, anything we can find a reason to go with.
And I hear that in your music too. Like you hear,
I've
feel
heard
the New Orleans vibe.
A lot of
in
people
there.
have commented about my affinity for the New Orleans culture because I do write about it a lot because I've seen it a lot. I grew up around it. It was like my parents.
It affects you, so
Well,
it
yeah, and
comes
we
out in
went
your
on a lot of
music.
trips. Like, we would just take a day trip to New Orleans as a kid, like pretty often. I mean, it's 2 hours from Mobile.
Yeah.
Where I grew up, and so it's like, let's go
It's
to
the
New Orleans
perfect
for the day.
weekend trip. Yeah.
So and now that I live here with my wife and my child, like it's easy to just do it. So we went on a ghost tour one time when we went for an anniversary, and they taught us all about these voodoo queens and this like ghost tour. Basically, it was
Yeah.
like the old hotels and like what went on in them and like real stuff, but like people were like, yeah, and the guy that's telling us this, he's a historian, and it's funny how like nonchalant people are when they believe in ghosts or whatever, and we can talk about that another time, but how like they're just like, no, it is what it is, like that squirrel's over there, but also this is Roger, and like no problems, and so we're like, this is very believable. So anyways, I was inspired by it, and I wrote this song called Voodoo Queen about it, and it was kind of this story that just kind of came to be. There was for no particular reason, and we've all made some late night drives as artists and musicians,
Yeah.
and the thoughts that come to your head are not like normal thoughts, but a lot of good songs can come from
they
them.
can.
So, and that's kind of how this one, they usually will start like between Nashville and Alabama, or from between New Orleans and Mobile, and these little choruses will pop up, and so that, that was kind of one of these.
Beautiful. I can't wait to hear it, my man.
man.
So everybody, are you ready? Voodoo Queen, Mr. Johnny Hayes.
I drove down to New Orleans to see my loving voodoo queen. I need some more amphetamine to get me through the night, to get me through the night. I hope I see my baby there, standing down in Jackson Square, hanging out in the Cajun glare of that Louisiana moonlight, Louisiana moonlight. Oh, but baby, baby, where you been? Your daddy done called twice. Your mama stole your medicine, still paying for her vice. She ain't no Marie Laveau, but the girl, she ain't too nice. If I don't find that loving voodoo queen, I won't get through the night. That gypsy woman came to me and said, boy, get down on your knees. No bones, no blood, no effigies. No time to misbehave, no time to misbehave. And it's that voodoo you can't hear or see, for these chains, chains that shackle me. Boy, get down, set me free, and then brought me to my grave, brought me to my grave. Oh, but baby, baby, where you been? Your daddy done called twice. Your mama stole your medicine, still paying for her eyes. Oh, she ain't no Marie Laveau, but the girl, she ain't too nice. If I don't find that loving voodoo queen, I won't get through the night. Yeah. Don't let them mogos fool you, boy. Tap dancing to the Zydeco beats. And if they try to guess where you got your boots, you better tell them, on my feet. Oh, no, but baby, baby, where you been? Your daddy done called twice. Your mama stole your medicine, paying for her vice. She ain't no Marie Laveau, but the girl, she ain't too nice. If I don't find that loving voodoo queen, I won't get through the night. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Won't get through the night. Yeah, yeah. I won't get through it, baby. Ooh, you wanna set me free? I need my loving, 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 loving voodoo queen.
We're back, Voodoo Queen. So again, you can't necessarily get it. You can see it on YouTube if you search it out, but you just keep clicking on this and just keep hitting like. So, because we want you to share up and love what we're doing here. So don't be afraid to hit that like button and share it up, and make sure you like all this entertainment. It's if you know our viewership, we used to do this on Foxy Records, but we got our new our Facebook page called All This Entertainment. Hit like. Make sure you go on JohnnyHayes.com, check out his new website, give him a little support. Venmo, Cash App, Johnny Hayes Music. Give this man some money. Shower him with love. And if you can't give him any money, we're live streaming right now. I want you to make some comments and tell us about it. Give this man some adulation, because ultimately musicians want two things, and that's money and attention. So give this man some attention, give him some love, and show him how amazing he is, because I think you're amazing, my friend.
Oh, thanks, man.
The first time I met you, I stumbled upon you. It was one of those, you were at the Brickyard, you had the love seats.
Yes.
I had my friend, we were just walking around, and it was like, what is that? And
that
we
was
like,
on the 4th of July or the 3rd of July?
Oh, yes, it was the 4th of July in Mobile. That was, yeah. That was a good night, man. We watched the fireworks and walking, and your music drew me in, and we went in, and you just like finished the last song and went on break. I'm like, oh, son of a bitch.
Right.
So I just kind of hovered about y'all like I normally do. I go up and mess with the musicians, and we started playing pool, and you went into that next set, and I just became, it was an instant fan.
Oh, man.
Instant fan, man. Like,
thank you, brother.
It blew me away. There's other parts of that night I cannot get in here.
I know, right? I have a few stories of that night. I'm like, I don't know.
There are parts of it that I do remember and I don't remember, but the main thing I remember before the parts I don't remember was I became a Johnny Hayes fan. I mean, I just loved it.
And I was worried that the parts you don't remember were the reason that you became a fan, and not because you were just a fan. You know, if that makes sense. I think you know exactly.
Yeah, I know exactly.
But yes,
what you mean.
but I'm thankful. I'm very, very thankful.
It was amazing,
Thank you so
and
much.
because to me, that's my most fun thing. I love out of nowhere discovering somebody in my orbit that is just freaking amazing. And I had no idea about you. I didn't know that you were on The Voice. I didn't know that you've been doing this your whole life. I just thought, I don't know where this guy come from, but his music is effing amazing.
Well,
and it
that
just blew
means
me
a lot,
away.
man. Thank you.
So let's talk about Johnny Hayes and the Love Seats, because
Yeah.
that's who I got. I didn't see the solo show. I saw the Love Seats.
Yeah, man.
I
Yeah.
saw all y'all.
Which you saw like just kind of a basic 4-piece, I think. I don't
That's right. You were missing somebody that
yeah,
night.
you didn't see like the whole package, if
And
you will.
all your guys were just nice as can be. I mean, just some good, down to earth
Yeah,
people.
man, they are. And we have a different drummer now than we had at the time, but like all the guys that I've played, I got so lucky when I moved to Nashville. I wrote this song, and I had a guy, and now we're like, you know, brothers, and he's in the band, Matt Mackey, and I had this song, and I called him, and I said, I know you're in Nashville. I just moved to Nashville, and I know you play harmonica. I wrote this song, and I'm playing Whiskey Jam tonight, which was like very new at the time in Nashville. And if you don't know what Whiskey Jam is, it's kind of based around original music in Nashville. You get it's on Mondays and Thursdays. It used to be only Mondays. You'd go in, you do 3 songs in front of this thirsty crowd for original music, right?
Nice.
Like
Yeah.
they want it, whatever
Yeah.
you got. And I got so lucky to get this gig that I had no business being in, because I was with people that had written amazing songs, and I had written maybe like 5 songs, like,
Yeah.
at all at that point in my life. And so I wrote this song that I thought was cool at the time, and it's called Roll Home Baby, which is like a blues song, and I'll tell you a funny story about it later. But anyway, so I called him. I said, "Hey, I got this song." So he sings. He comes to do this gig with me, and we end up meeting like so many people that night that basically were the rest of what has occurred in my life. And one of those people was this girl named Hannah Dasher, who's a fantastic artist, singer-songwriter that lives in
Yeah.
Nashville. She's from Georgia. Sweet as pie. Will cook for you. Will have you over to her house. Will demand she cook. But this girl, I mean, she is like a big-time songwriter now. I mean, she's been on tour with what's that 3-piece band, that country band that's like super popular?
Wood Brothers?
No, I'll think of them in a minute. But anyways, it doesn't matter. She's a fantastic human. Well, she had this jam that she did every Thursday. She said, I got this jam. I'm a waitress at this place, and we have this jam every Thursday, and I got this killer house band there behind me, and y'all ought to come and sing some of your songs, and then we'll do like an artist night. We'll pay you to sing your songs, and you get to rehearse with the band and all this
Nice.
stuff. And at this time and
Yeah.
point in my life, I was like, oh my God, are you serious?
Yeah,
Like,
because you didn't have a
I
band at
never
all, right?
played with a real band before.
Oh, wow.
I'd never played like with guys that knew what the hell they were doing.
Yeah.
Like, for real. You know, and so it was cool. And so we went and we met these guys, which a lot of them ended up being in my band, and it kind of like started this whole thing. And so yeah, I'm kind of thinking where I was going with that, with the Love Seats. So basically it formed the Love Seats, and then it kind of broke off.
So
We got new
that
people.
moment there is where
Yeah,
it
man, and
kind
then,
of sprung
yeah,
from.
we played weddings, we played all over the place. We played in
Wait-
Arkansas
wait a
and
minute.
Texas.
Where did Love Seats come from? I meant to ask you this. I forgot to ask you about this earlier.
So the Love Seats came from, we were driving somewhere, and we were like discussing band names, like
Yeah. Oh, that's
they
the
thought it was
worst.
Johnny Hayes and the something, and I was like, I don't want my name to be in there. It's got to be Johnny Hayes and that. I was like, okay. So we're like driving in a van and listening to Cat Williams
Okay.
stand
Yeah.
up.
Uh-huh.
And he's got this bit about being so high that like you start to analyze things that are like so stupid to analyze.
Yeah.
and there was a bit about, he said, He said, man, you can sit down in the couch, and you go, this is a couch. And I know why they call this a couch. But that is a love seat. And you gotta be in love to sit in it. And I was like, oh, what about Johnny Hayes and the Love Seats? And like, it just like, I don't know, it was dumb. And it just stuck.
It's dope though. I mean,
it just
really
worked, you know? And so people for a long time were like, is it the love seeds? Or is it oh man. I'm like, well,
that was
it could
a little
be.
more graphic.
Like, it could be, I guess. I mean, kind of, depending on who you ask.
Yeah.
And so
you
that's
guys do have a lot of kids, you know.
Right, yeah. Many. Uncountable.
So obviously you guys are not playing as much now, but if you get on Spotify, you can get their self-titled album. That came out in 2017. Yeah.
Actually, we released that album came out, like, you know how like you put it out on the little TuneCore thing or whatever you do, your distribution thing is, it takes like a couple days for it to come out.
Yeah.
So they said it would be October the 2nd, I think is what it was. And like I woke up that morning and I was so excited. I was like, yes, we're releasing our album. And then my news pops up. Rock and roll legend Tom Petty dies at 16. I was like, are you kidding me? Like so many bummers at one time for so many different reasons.
Yeah.
And then you're like, and now I feel selfish for like feeling like this is a bummer that my album released the day Tom Petty died. But then I thought, as you know, as time went on, I was like, you know, maybe this is not a bad thing that our album
would ultimately say, I would think
was
Tom
birthed.
Petty would be more like, that's cool, do your
right,
album,
and you know, yeah, exactly. Like Tom Petty's super rock and roll. He's like, that's great. I died. Your album came into the world. It works.
Exactly. Yeah,
It works.
Helped birth.
I wish my album was as good as the Tom Petty album, but you know, we didn't have a lot of money.
I mean, he was Tom Petty, though. I mean, what can you say?
He's a baller.
I think your album's just amazing.
Thanks,
I
man.
mean, I've
Thank
listened
you.
to it over and over. Couple of my favorites. It's kind of wild. Like if once you get in here and get on and listen to this album, you'll see these things that Johnny does all the way through. Like he has this old world feel that he puts in there. He'll sneak in some doo-wop and some boogie woogie, and it's fantastic. It's fun.
Man. Thanks, man.
That was the thing ultimately that I loved most about your album. To me, it felt like I could, if I had a beautiful woman, I would take a beautiful woman to one of your shows and just dance all night and just have a ball.
Thanks, man.
I mean, it didn't get into those parts where it just makes you so depressed. It was fun. It was lighthearted.
Yeah,
it was good. And
my
that's what I
goal was to
liked
make a
about it.
soul album, like a rock and soul type of album.
Yeah.
That was it. And however we could do it. And we took methods of, it was fun to record it because we did it in an old church. That was a recording studio, and we just did it live. Like we had a mic in the middle. Everybody had their own little station with their
You
their
did all
phone.
that live?
Yes.
Man.
Yeah, there was maybe
There's some
a guitar
amazing stuff
solo.
in there that I would not have guessed was live recordings. That's awesome.
Some of the tambourine, a one acoustic guitar track, and like maybe 2 guitar solos. And that was it. Everything else was done like on the spot. Saxophone.
Who did all your harmonica? Was that you?
That's Matt Mackey.
Oh, Matt did? Oh, that's right. Matt does that.
Yes, he's fantastic.
I mean, he is
harmonica
damn good
player.
harmonica player.
He really
man.
is, man. He's
I'm an
he's full
aspiring
into it now.
harmonica player,
He's
so-
sponsored by Honer. Like he's like, I'm so proud of him for doing it. Like it's very cool.
Right on.
But yeah, man, he's a fantastic harmonica player. And then Jonathan Stevens on the guitar. I think it was more of it was a collaborative effort to produce it. I mean, we kind of sat down and talked about every song.
Yeah.
Which I was so glad that we did. Like I wanted to do that. Like let's give each song what is this purpose of this song, you know?
See, to me, that's what makes great music. Now, there's nothing wrong with being a songwriter that wants control of everything. But to me, when you bring the band into it, you create something together, not just something that you direct. You create something that's beautiful that can't be reproduced.
Yeah.
If it's just you directing, you can reproduce that with anybody.
Right.
But you created something different, and that's what I loved about it.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I just wanted to be authentic. That's all we want.
I felt it.
I want you to be able to see or hear whatever it is, you know.
My favorites were Straight from the Bottle, Fall. But my absolute favorite was it's different than all the rest of the songs. Rock and Roll and Sin. It was my favorite, man. I don't know why it hit me so
I
hard,
think
but
music listeners, like songwriters like that song.
yeah.
Because it's a song that has a payoff at the end, which nowadays it's like people want their payoff immediately. I want that chorus to come in.
Yeah.
And the chorus is decent on that song, but like that was one of the first songs I wrote where I was like, oh wow, you can write songs like this now.
Yeah.
Like,
I felt
you know what I
it,
mean? And yeah,
because
thank you. I'm glad you liked that one.
Because it came in at the end of the album.
It's
so
my
like,
favorite.
I was like rocking and rolling all the way through, and then when that one hit, it took me to a whole new place. And that's why I loved your position in it in the album too, because it really did. It just kind of finalized everything.
It did.
It just kind of like
it
was
was
like
the
it's time to
thematic.
relax. You know,
Honestly,
this is the
in
end.
hindsight,
I love you, and have a good night kind of feel.
In
you know?
hindsight, I should have named that album "Rock and Roll and Sin."
Really,
Yeah, but I thought that song, as far as the songwriting went, was so head and shoulders above the other songs. So
yeah.
I just thought that'd be a good way to end it, and actually it'd be a great way to here's what's next. And that's kind of like the song that I'm going to sing here next, Rose and Cigarettes, kind of derived off of that style, and was written with a love seat and Matt Mackey, and then this other guy who was a major influence on me as a songwriter too.
Yeah.
And I wished I had written that song when that album came out, because I think that album would have done it, because it's I love that. It's a great song.
Well, he's not going to sing Rock and Roll and Sin, but
No.
get on there and listen to that one on the album. I'm telling you, you're going to love it. But we are going to do Rose and Cigarettes.
Yes.
So you wrote this with the band. This wasn't just you bringing it to the band.
I wrote this. So we have this old truck that I do lawn care when I'm not doing music, and we have this old truck. We call her Bessie. And me and Bessie have written songs together. We've spent a lot of time with each other. So we're doing this yard, and there's this woman sitting on a porch, just like this, with the legs crossed, and she had a glass of rosé right here, and she had a cigarette in her hand, and it was about 10 in the morning, maybe something like that. And I had walked up and I was doing this work, and usually people, when they see me approaching, because the equipment's loud, there's dust flying everywhere, they're like, want to go inside. She stayed and just would not go inside. And I don't know why, I just immediately, this popped in my head, and I walked away and I just went, she'll have rosé and cigarettes for breakfast.
Yes.
And I was like, who wrote that? Like, somebody wrote that before. Like that. There's no freaking way that somebody hasn't written that before. And I've Googled literally rosé and cigarettes, and all these other songs came up that was like roses and cigarettes. And, and that kind of thing. A band called Roses and Cigarettes came up. I was like, nobody's written this song. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So I recorded just that, and kind of forgot about it, and because I'll kind of go back. And so I went to Nashville because I had a couple shows, and I was supposed to write with my buddies, Stuart Bond and Matt Mackey. And we didn't have much time because Stuart had a new baby he had to get back to. And one of the babies. So we went right. So we just sat at the table, and I said, and it's like, what do you want to write about? That's what everybody does. They're like, well, what do you want to? What's on your mind? And I was like, well, I got this chorus that I wrote, and I had developed it a little bit more since then. And so I sang them the whole chorus, and they were like, we're gonna write that.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of like this whole story about this.
See, that's beautiful,
woman
man. They feel you too.
About.
They support
they got
you.
it.
They got it.
Yeah. When you start to try to like empathetically write songs instead of write songs just for you, and start to think, well, what would this sound like if this person sang on this, or what would this songwriter say?
Yeah.
Here. Because then that's when you realize how connected everybody is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then you realize how universal that's why songs, like a songwriter told me, a good song, even if nobody's ever heard it, the first time people hear it, they think they've heard it.
Yeah, exactly.
They go,
feel it.
Who wrote? I've heard that before. And like, nope, you haven't. And Rosé and Cigarettes is one of those songs that, like, when I play it every time without fail, somebody's like, who sings that? And,
I do.
Like,
That's what you say. I do.
I wrote that one.
That's beautiful.
And that's cool, but I kind of like, I did, but I didn't want to like tell you that, like,
Yeah.
because if I'd have told you that before I sang it,
You wouldn't listen.
you'd have been like,
Yeah.
and you wouldn't have heard anything.
I've been given that advice too. Like, you talk too much. Don't tell them. It's just play it.
Just play it.
And I have noticed that playing out, that a lot of times if you just play it and don't tell them it's an original, people will groove to it a heck of a lot more.
They will if it's a good song,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how you can figure out if it's a good song or if it's a good song. You know what I mean? It's like a recognizably good song. But then, because I'll play like covers that I know really well and love to play, but like maybe other people haven't heard them and it's an obscure cover.
Yeah.
What's the difference between me playing that song and one of my songs that's a decent song? And I have to have that conversation with my insecure ass all the time.
Yeah. Well, we need to get into some music because
Yep.
I know me and Johnny, we have a good rapport, so
Sorry.
we could sit here and talk for hours. And I know you guys are all waiting for a song, and we've been talking about rosé and cigarettes, so let's get into it. So everybody, are you ready? Rosé and cigarettes, Mr. Johnny Hayes.
She saw him loading quarters in the jukebox in a bar outside of Santa Fe. She two-stepped her way into his pockets. Everything he owned is in her name. She'll have the rosé and cigarettes for breakfast, oh yeah. The cocaine with no regrets in the morning sun. She's a Democrat and a divorcee from Texas. She ain't taking shit off anyone. She caught his eye on the strip in Vegas. Then she took his hand and lied straight to his face. Oh yeah. Made a vow to have and hold forever, at least until the next one took his place. She'll have the rosé and cigarettes for breakfast, oh yeah. The cocaine with no regrets in the morning sun. She's a Democrat and a divorcee from Texas, Houston, Texas. She ain't taking shit off anyone. She got the Nicorettes, credit cards, Percocets, and driving classic cars. Got some old suitcases full of stolen hearts. Pay your tab and tip the band. The hourglass is out of sand. She orders up her usual again. She'll have the rosé and cigarettes for breakfast, oh yeah. The cocaine with no regrets in the morning sun. She's a Democrat and a divorcee from Texas, Houston, Texas. She ain't taking shit off anyone. Yeah, she ain't taking shit off anyone. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh, we're back. Rosé and cigarettes, which you cannot find on Spotify, but you can go on Spotify and get his album. Make sure you go.
Hold on. You said you can't find it on Spotify, but you can find it on Spotify.
No, oh well, yeah. I meant his album, but yeah,
Okay,
we'll start again.
All right, cool. 5, 4, 3, 2.
We're back. Rosé and cigarettes, Mr. Johnny Hayes, which you cannot buy on Spotify yet. I'm sure we're going to be getting another album pretty soon. But you can get on there and get the self-titled Johnny Hayes and the Love Seats album, so please do that. Make sure you go on johnnyhayes.com and like up his new stuff and check out everything on his new website. Facebook, Instagram. Throw money at him at Johnny Hayes Music at Venmo and the Cash App. So send this boy some love. Like I said earlier, he's got children on the way. He's got children at the home that need, cigarettes and whiskey?
Yes.
We got children at home that don't have cigarettes and whiskey. So send this man some money, please. Please send this man some money. Johnny, I can't tell you much how thankful I am that you came out here today.
Thank you.
I know you and I could sit here and talk for hours and hours, but Sergio's being mean, and he keeps telling us that we got to stop. We got to stop talking. We have too much recorded. So we're gonna slow down a little bit here. So before we end all this, let's what do you got going on? What kind of things you got coming up now?
Man.
Be aware we won't air this for another 3 weeks. So if it's coming up in the next 3 weeks, we're gonna miss it.
There's not a whole lot going on other than just playing shows around town and writing music at the house. I mean, it's kind of as much as everybody else is doing right now.
That actually brings up a question I was wanting to ask you about, because so you did The Voice, and you went to Nashville, and you started these things, and I've seen this from a few other artists. You had the chance to be traveling all over the United States, playing festivals and not being at home, but luckily, and I know this sucks that this pandemic happened, but this has given you the opportunity to stay home and to spend time with your baby and your wife. Really nice. And your wife's 7 months pregnant. She's coming up with another one, and I think it's beautiful because you get to do the thing you love, but you still get that family time. And I think a lot of artists, when they're traveling, they miss out on that. And I've seen that in the pandemic, and we've talked to a lot of artists that they get to spend time with the family. And
yeah, man, it's been the best part. Honestly, it's like, you just don't get to do that as much when you're traveling, obviously. And I didn't travel a whole lot to begin with, but I was already kind of like at that point where I was like, I need to reevaluate and like kind of see how long I need to not be on the road as much. Yeah. Because I can always go back and do that when the kids are old enough that they're busy too. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I want to be there for stuff. Yeah. So like my dad and my mom were like they were there, and my wife's parents were the same. They were there, and when you do this, it's a little bit more difficult to be there at the convenient times. Yeah. I've gotten lucky to be able to make my own schedule to where I can do what I need to do, just because the people that I work with are wonderful in all in the venues that I work with. And
you got an amazing supportive wife.
And I do, man. I mean, golly, she's been on the train since we met, and
she's your biggest fan. I know. I'm a big fan, but I mean, it's beautiful because she's always there. She's always promoting you and just loving on you. I think it's beautiful, man.
Yeah, man. I'm lucky. I'm very lucky, and for all that, it makes this wonderful gumbo of love, and I'm so grateful that I can do what I do, and and it's not, I don't do all music, like I do lawn care with my dad and his company. It's just me and him and another guy, and in fact a guy that plays drums with me sometimes, Ryan Van Dyke, who's fantastic guy, fantastic musician. But anyways, so it's nice to be able to share that day to day with him, but getting home at a decent hour and spending time with the family at night is very nice.
To me, it keeps you grounded, and that's what I see out of you. I meet a lot of musicians, and that work ethic that you have, it's grounding, and thanks, man. I like that. And to me, I'm thankful in a way because you stay around here. We live in this amazing area where we have, just an ungodly amount of amazing musicians just in our area alone. And I'm very fortunate because you're stuck here raising your family, so I get to come out and watch you and have fun. You're not traveling across the world, and I don't get to see you. So
yeah, man.
It's selfish, I know, but I enjoy it.
No. I like I said, like, and I know you didn't mean it this way, but like, I don't feel like I'm stuck like so much. I feel like it was a very conscious decision to move from Nashville back here. Like Meredith and I were like, she had lived in Chicago for a long time. I lived in Nashville, so we lived these adventurous lifestyles that, like, realistically, as far as what my idea of a family is, I couldn't do what my idea of a family was and live that way. At that particular, there may come a point in time in our lives when her and I can actually travel and do those things again.
Yeah.
And we still do, but it's a little bit more spaced out now. And so
living the dream, like Ed Anderson and
yeah,
Kim
but it's
traveling
a dream
together,
come true to have a family. Like it was like the number one thing in my life that I wanted. I knew I wanted
It's
more
the
than
best
anything
thing.
else, And
the
it was
best
because
experience.
I had one. I knew, and as a child, you want to be able to rely on your parents, anybody.
Yeah. I've raised a lot of kids, and to me, it's the most rewarding experience that you could have. I got a 5-year-old, and it's the best thing in my life. I mean, it's
I know,
glorious.
I saw your pictures, man. It's
Every
super
day.
cute. I love it.
She's something else. She's so sassy. I was trying to get her to eat the other day, and she just said, "Dad, you worry about your food and let me worry about mine." I'm like, "No, that's my job."
But at the same time, you're like, I love you for that. Like you're gonna kill it.
Yeah.
Man, that's great.
Well, again, thank you so much for coming today, man. I so appreciate it. I do this because I'm a fan, and I get to hang out with you, and I get to listen to you play music. And today, we give a very special thanks to the owner of this porch, myself, because this is my porch. This is our first showing on my porch, and I'm pretty excited about that, y'all. So thank you for coming into my porch today. Anything else that you want to talk about or promote real quick before we close this thing out? We're going to get into your song here in just a second, but any last minute things?
Man,
You feel good? Feel like we covered some good stuff?
I'm playing, this airs in 3 weeks, but I'm playing it, play at Floribama all the time, and
yes, go see him and get on the Facebook or Instagram.
I'll put my
or
schedule
anything.
up on it'll come up on my website. So
he's all over. He just played at the cigar bar last night. I mean, you can catch him all over here. But for those of you that are watching, I know we got fans in Germany and we got fans across the United States and stuff. I know you can't go see Johnny, but maybe one day. But get online and watch his things, and you can see his videos. You can check out the videos online. You can see all of his performances on The Voice, which were just amazing. And that moment where Adam hits the button and Gwen's right afterwards and wanting to fight over you, that has to feel good. That's better than Idol. You get those people just fighting over you. Wanting to train you. I think that's so cool, man. So get online. You can check all this out. Again, go to johnnyhays.com website. Johnny Hayes Music for Venmo and Cash App. Make sure you like up his Facebook page. Again, go to All This Entertainment. That's who brings this show. Without them, this show wouldn't be non-existent. I wouldn't have this chance to bring these amazing musicians to you so you could hear them and learn about their stories. So go to All This Entertainment, hit the like button, make sure you share this video, make sure you comment during the show. I'm watching it with you, so I get to sit there and I can talk to you back and forth, and I can tell you the behind-the-scene things. Maybe I might tell you about those stories that we talk about we can't talk about.
Yeah.
But before we go, you know me, I always want to leave you with something positive. And today, Johnny and I just have this rapport where it's just free flow. And I think that my positive message to you today is to challenge you to have a conversation with somebody, and have a conversation with somebody that's outside of those things that you believe and think in. It's compromise, man. That's what I see the thing that this world has lost the most right now, and that is talking to one another and compromising as human beings. You don't have to have everything exactly your way. I don't have to have everything exactly my way. We got to coexist and live together. So please do a kindness for somebody. Share a little love. Open a door for somebody. Tell a lady how beautiful her hair is. You just give a compliment. Share something nice, and stop trolling your friends on Facebook. I mean, come on. Good Lord, people. Stop trolling each other on Facebook. I'm not going to take your guns. I'm not going to make you, whatever. Let's just talk. Let's share a little love. Share a little love. Share a little peace, and share a little light. Man, Johnny, thank you so much.
Thank you, brother.
So we're going to finish out the day with which one are we going to do?
Long Night in Nashville.
Long Night in Nashville. Okay, so real quick before we go, tell us about it real quick. Where did it come from?
That I wrote this chorus driving home from Nashville. I literally just had a long night in Nashville, and it was when I was really heavy traveling, and my daughter, I don't know if she was born yet. I think she was definitely born when I wrote this, and I just wanted to get back to her. And I remember thinking, like, I need to make things normal. I want my daughter to know I'm around, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, it was straining on Meredith and I, and it was like the traveling can get heavy, you know.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of like it was recollecting on times when I did live in Nashville, and kind of like, you know, figuring out what's the good balance here, like what's the most important things that we need to worry about.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just like, you know, good times are good times, but it's not all good times. You know, he's got to be prepared for when it's going to be bad. And I had written this chorus, and then like wrote the whole song while I drove, like just via voice text, and had not put music to it yet. But I heard it, you know, and I was like, I think this is what it's going to be. And this, man, it was one of those songs that just wrote itself. It just flowed out. I sent it to my guys to get them to look it over, revise it. They didn't even look at it. It took like 6 months, and I was playing it in a sound check, and they were like, "Did you write that song?" And I was like, "Yeah, man. I sent this to you like back in February. I thought you hated it and didn't tell me about it." And they're like, "This is the best song that you have ever written."
See, why don't you listen to me?
And I was like, well, god darn. I thought it was maybe one of the worst things I'd done. And I was honestly I'd played it a couple times since then. I thought, maybe this isn't so bad, but is it dumb? You know, you just do that as a songwriter, and then you just try it. And if maybe one person likes it, that's really all you need to know. It's like, maybe somebody needed it.
Yeah.
Well, they heard it. They were like, oh, my God. So anyways,
those are the best.
This is, man.
Those are the best.
And I lived in Nashville, and it's just, you just don't know a place sometimes until you left it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of another side of it. So
beautiful. Well, before we go into song, I wanted you to bring your guitar out here to show everybody, because you know during the song everybody's going to be asking what's with the hole in your guitar there. So this is our PSA on pick guard. So.
Well, you know, I think pick guard regardless. You know, you can see if you get close there's some streaks that way and that way. And there's one there, and then there's a couple here. Those are fingernail marks.
Oh man!
From basically a drunk girl falling forward.
Oh my God!
During a show, right? So she let that long streak down there, and then it doesn't have a pick guard. So it was like, I think 4 years, maybe something like that it had finally rubbed a hole. Like, just from playing, like basically my pinky and everything had just run. And I was playing Trouble by Ray LaMontagne at the Bungin' Up Pig in Murfreesboro when it finally poked through.
Oh man!
And I was like, oh, well, this is kind of cool. So I'll just keep on. And then honestly, like, it became my songwriting guitar, because my band was like, stop playing that damn guitar. We need to get you a real guitar that don't have a hole in it. I was like, Willie Nelson has it, but that's Willie Nelson. Yes, you're right. Okay.
That's true.
So, so he can get away with it.
But still, that is pretty rad.
It became a songwriting guitar, and now it's a gigging guitar because my current guitar's pickup is busted. So I've just been playing this bad boy, restrung it and everything. It's not bad. So.
No, it's awesome. But we wanted to show everybody, because otherwise everybody's going to be home going, what's with the hole in the guitar?
Yeah, people ask every show, like, what happened? Like, thinking it's going to be some, like, if it's like, nothing special, just fingernails and fingernails. Whether it was mine or somebody else's.
It's a lot of love and tears and sweat and laughter and dancing and fun, and that's a lot of experience.
It's seen the dark days and the not so dark days, so it's been around.
Yeah, I love it. All right, we're going to get into the very last song. Johnny, thank you, my man.
Thank you so much.
Everybody, go out there and support this man. Throw him some money. Remember, his children need whiskey and cigarettes. Give him that money.
The band's children need whiskey and cigarettes.
His children are clean cut. The band's children are...
She's 2, so...
Give them love seats some money, man. They need it. All right. I love everybody out there. Be kind, be safe.
Thanks,
All
y'all.
right. Last time, Mr. Johnny Hayes, long night in Nashville. Have a good night, everybody.
Thanks again, everybody, for watching. This last one's a long night in Nashville, and it's been a long few months for everybody. So hopefully we can get back to normalcy soon. So hope you all are doing well and staying healthy.
Snow is falling and the Adderall starting to kick in. Tomorrow I'll be adding to the miles I logged in. The lights have kept me up all night, falling down again. There's nothing new to talk about after 3 a.m. Another long night in Nashville, Tennessee. Get your head right, darling. Lie down next to me. The red wine stains remind us of what the morning used to be. A long night in Nashville, Tennessee. There's photographs and broken glass covering the floor. These late nights and stupid fights start another war. Well, baby, who's to blame you when you can't take anymore? And I can't get my words out right before you slam the door for another long night in Nashville, Tennessee. So get your head right, darling. Lie down next to me. Yeah, the red wine stains remind us of what the morning used to be. A long night in Nashville, Tennessee. Maybe we get back to the good days. Maybe we should smoke a little weed. Hopefully we'll find a slow and steady pace. Start to say the things we actually believe, like the long nights in Nashville, Tennessee. Let's get our head right, darling. Lie down next to me. The red wine stains remind us of what the morning used to be. A long night in Nashville. Yeah, the red wine stains remind us of what the good days used to be. Another long night of loving you in Nashville, Tennessee.
Thank you.